You know what's funny? Every season I tell myself, all right, this year I'm not going to try anything new. I'll just grow what I know. And every single year, I end up experimenting anyway. Because gardening right now is changing so fast that standing still almost feels like going backwards. The way people garden today is nothing like it was 5 years ago. And that's actually exciting. This year, I've seen so many gardeners trying new ideas that make the garden smarter, easier, and honestly way more fun. So I want to share what's working right now, the real trends that people aren't just talking about online, but actually doing. Let's start with the one that's everywhere, climate-smart gardening. You can't ignore it anymore. Summers are hotter, rain comes when you don't need it, and when you do, it disappears. The old way of gardening, just watering more and hoping for the best, doesn't cut it now. What everyone's doing is building resilience into their gardens. That means using mulch like it's gold. I don't care if it's wood chips, shredded leaves, or grass clippings, cover that soil. Bare ground is dead ground. Mulch keeps the moisture, keeps the roots cool, and turns into food for your soil life. It's the easiest upgrade you can make right now. The second thing that's huge, growing natives and near natives. You've probably heard that term 100 times by now, but here's why it actually matters. These plants are used to your climate. They can handle the heat, the pests, the weird rain cycles, and they don't need constant babysitting. I started mixing natives into my vegetable garden, like coneflowers, bee balm, yarrow, and guess what? My pollination doubled. More bees, more butterflies, more balance. The old mindset of vegetable beds over here and flowers over there is gone. Now it's all one living ecosystem, and the garden's better for it. Third trend, less lawn, more life. If you still have a big chunk of grass that eats water and time, this is the year to cut it back. People are turning those patches into edible landscapes. Herbs, berries, perennial vegetables, or pollinator strips. Lawns used to be about control. Now the cool thing is to let your yard look alive. A little messy, a little wild, that's what's in. Then there's the no-dig movement, and it's not a fad anymore. A few years ago, everyone thought no-till was just for lazy gardeners. But the data's in. It works. By not turning the soil, you keep all that underground life intact. Worms, fungi, microbes, they build natural tunnels and networks that feed your plants better than any fertilizer. When I stopped tilling, my soil went from hard and gray to dark and crumbly in one season. It's honestly like flipping a switch. And that ties right into composting smarter, not harder. Forget those fancy compost bins that take all year to cook. What's working right now is simple layering. Kitchen scraps, leaves, straw, repeat, let it rot in place, or even better, trench compost it right in your garden bed. That's what people are calling lazy composting, but it's genius. It feeds the soil where the plants are, and you skip the hauling and turning. Now let's talk about perennial food plants, because they're the future. Everyone's realizing you don't have to replant everything every year. Berries, rhubarb, asparagus, herbs, even some perennial kale and onions. Once you set them up, they feed you for years. Less work, more yield, and way better for the soil. If you want a low-maintenance garden that still gives you food, start there. Another huge shift this year, gardening for pollinators and wildlife. Not just because it looks nice, but because it makes your garden self-regulating. The more life you attract, the less you have to fight pests. Ladybugs, hoverflies, lacewings, they show up when you give them flowers and shelter. People are even leaving small brush piles and letting seed heads stand through winter. It's not neglect, it's strategy. Nature knows how to balance itself if you give it a chance. And here's one that's blown up on social media, the wild garden look. Forget those perfect symmetrical beds. People are embracing imperfection. Dense plantings, mixed colors, textures, things spilling over the edges. It's not chaos, it's abundance. When I stopped trying to control every inch, my garden suddenly looked alive. The bees loved it, the soil stayed shaded. And honestly, it was way more relaxing. That perfect Pinterest garden trend is dead. Real gardens are messy, and proud of it. You've probably also seen more gardeners talking about seed saving and local adaptation. That's huge. The seeds you save from your healthiest plants carry the DNA of survival. Year after year, they get more tuned to your microclimate. That's how you build real resilience. I started saving tomato and bean seeds 3 years ago, and now they germinate faster and handle drought better than any store-bought packet. Let's talk about water conservation, because that's only getting more important. People are finally realizing watering isn't about quantity, it's about consistency. Deep, slow watering builds strong roots. Drip systems, ollas, and mulch. Those 3 together can cut your water use in half. Collect rainwater if you can. Even a few barrels make a difference. And if you plant smart, grouping thirsty plants together and drought-tolerant ones separately, you'll notice everything just works smoother. Now, one of the coolest things I've seen is micro-gardening, turning tiny spaces into food factories. Balconies, patios, rooftops, it doesn't matter. Stackable planters, vertical trellises, and container mixes that actually hold moisture, they've changed the game. People are harvesting salads and herbs in spots that used to hold lawn chairs. Small space gardening is no longer the exception, it's the norm. And if you want to make your garden thrive with minimal effort, here's what's trending big. Living mulch and ground covers. Clover, thyme, creeping oregano, they cover the soil, feed pollinators, and fix nitrogen. They're not weeds, they're allies. You'll see more people replacing traditional mulch with living mulch because it looks great and works even better. Another major shift, gardening for mental health. And yeah, I know we said no psychology, but this one's grounded in reality. People are designing gardens to be restorative, slower, simpler, sensory spaces. Not just for production, but for presence. A place where you can unplug, breathe, and reset. The garden is becoming the new meditation room, and honestly, after this year, I think we all need that. Let's hit some practical upgrades too, because tools and tech have evolved. Smart watering timers powered by solar. Soil sensors that ping your phone when your bed's dry. LED grow lights that mimic sunrise and sunset for indoor starts. It's not about going high-tech just for the sake of it. It's about saving time for the parts you actually enjoy. Then there's biochar. Another big one in 2025. You've probably seen people talking about it like it's magic. It's not magic, but it is powerful. Think of it as long-term carbon storage for your soil. It holds nutrients and water, builds structure, and once you charge it with compost or worm tea, it becomes a buffet for microbes. You don't need much. Just mix a bit into your beds and your soil stays healthier longer. Speaking of microbes, let's talk fermented plant teas and compost extracts. Yeah, it sounds weird, but it's exploding in the gardening community. People are making homemade fertilizers using nettles, comfrey, banana peels, fermented for a week or 2, and then diluted for watering. It's all natural, cheap, and surprisingly effective. Plants respond fast because it's like a probiotic drink for your soil. And the trend of regenerative gardening keeps growing. It's more than organic. It's about giving back more than you take. Every decision you make, what you plant, how you water, how you compost, builds a loop that supports life instead of draining it. You're not fighting nature, you're teaming up with it. And that's what makes this moment in gardening so exciting. Let's talk food, because that's still the heart of it. People are growing smarter crops. Short-season tomatoes, heat-resistant lettuces, drought-proof peppers. Breeders are creating varieties that can handle the extremes. And you don't need to be a scientist. Just look for plants labeled heat-tolerant, drought-resistant, or early maturing. They'll save you headaches when the weather decides to go rogue again. And here's a fun one. Food forests in miniature. You don't need acres to build one. Even in a backyard, you can layer plants, trees on top, shrubs in the middle, herbs and ground covers below. It's the same principle as nature. Everything supports everything else. I've got a tiny version behind my shed, a dwarf apple, some currants, and strawberries underneath. And it's basically a self-maintaining buffet. Another thing gaining momentum is recycling and reusing materials. Gardeners are creative. We'll turn anything into a planter. Buckets, pallets, broken pots, nothing goes to waste. It's part sustainability, part personality. The more unique your setup, the more character your garden has. Now, let's talk timing. Old planting calendars are shifting. Because the seasons are unpredictable, gardeners are learning to watch cues instead of dates. Soil temperature, insect activity, rainfall patterns. That's how you stay ahead. Nature doesn't care about the calendar, and neither should we. And for anyone tired of constant weeding, welcome to cover cropping. It's not just for farms anymore. Planting rye, vetch, or buckwheat in your off-season keeps weeds down, feeds the soil, and brings in beneficial insects. Then you just chop and drop it in spring. Instant compost. A personal favorite of mine that's catching on fast. Mixing ornamental and edible plants. Why separate beauty from food? Purple basil next to zinnias, rainbow chard with petunias. It looks amazing and confuses pests. You can have a garden that's both stunning and productive. And this one's simple but powerful. Plant diversity. The more variety you grow, the more stable your garden becomes. Different root depths, leaf shapes, and blooming times mean fewer pest outbreaks and better soil balance. Monoculture is out. Diversity is in. For urban gardeners, container innovation is booming. Self-watering pots, lightweight soil mixes, and fabric grow bags are everywhere. They keep roots cool and give you flexibility. Move them with the sun, protect them from storms, stack them if needed. City gardeners are proving you don't need land to grow food, just creativity. Now, let's touch on indoor gardening, because it's not just a winter thing anymore. With new LED tech, people are growing herbs, greens, even strawberries indoors year-round. Small hydroponic setups are getting cheap and reliable. If you've got a window and a few minutes a day, you can have fresh greens even in January. And don't overlook community gardening. That's exploding again. People are sharing tools, swapping seeds, and turning empty lots into food hubs. Gardening isn't just about plants, it's about people. The community side keeps growing, and it's beautiful to see. If you want to stand out right now, try creating habitat corners, little mini ecosystems. A pile of rocks for lizards, a water dish for bees, a patch of native grasses. These tiny gestures make a massive impact. And the bonus? Your pest control becomes automatic. And here's a quick but powerful tip. Observe before you act. Spend time watching your garden. Where the sun hits longest, where the wind blows hardest, where the dew lingers. That observation builds intuition, and intuition beats any rule book. So what's the takeaway from all these trends? Gardening in 2025 is about connection, to the soil, to nature, and to each other. It's about working smarter, not harder. It's about building gardens that last, not just through the season, but through the years. If you're new, start small. A few containers, a raised bed, maybe some herbs by the door. Don't wait for perfect conditions. Start now. And if you're experienced, challenge yourself. Try a new technique, save seeds, plant something wild. The best gardens are the ones that evolve. At the end of the day, gardening isn't about perfection. It's about participation. The world's changing fast, but in the garden, you get to be part of the solution. Every handful of compost, every seed, every drop of rain you save, it matters. You're building something that feeds you, shelters life, and restores hope. So yeah, trends come and go, but this one's here to stay. Gardeners everywhere, growing with purpose. And if you've been thinking about trying something new this year, this is your sign. Get out there, plant something, and let nature show you what it can do. Because trust me, the garden will always give back more than you expect.